Hello everyone, let me introduce you to the presentation of our energy project about solar panels. In this part of the project, we present a comprehensive study of a residential photovoltaic installation. The analysis is based on several key factors. First, the geographical location, which influences the solar potential. Then, the type of solar panels and inverters selected for optimal performance. We also take into account the specific characteristics of the residence, including roof orientation and available surface area. Using 15 years of historical irradiance data, we were able to model the expected energy production with a high level of accuracy. To support the technical choices, a detailed quote is included, covering the full cost of the system from equipment to installation. Finally, we assess the return on investment with the goal of achieving a cost-effective and sustainable solution over time. Here, we detail the specific configuration of the proposed installation. It includes 12 SunPower SPRP3 380 VLK photovoltaic panels, each rated at 380 watts peak, for a total of 4,560 watts peak. This system is paired with a 3.6 kW SMA inverter chosen to optimize the balance between cost and energy yield. The panels are installed on a roof with an azimuth of -30 degrees and a 40 degrees inclination, which corresponds to the natural slope of the building. With these parameters and based on local irradiance data, the estimated annual production reaches 4,645 kWh. The total installation cost is around 6,800 euros, and with current energy prices, this translates to a return on investment in just 4 years, making it both economically and environmentally sound solution. Here we talk about the location, but for confidentiality reasons, we will not disclose the exact location. We know it will be the building on the left, and yeah, as you can see with the compass rose, we are not perfectly aligned with the south, which explains the -30 degrees azimuth.
As far as the actual production is concerned, we have an average production per year of 4,620 kilowatts per hour. For a year, we have data per production starting from July 2022 going until September 2024, and we have all the different value, and we can see that with no surprises that the sunnier day produce more energy. We use a simulation created by the European Commission named PVGIS. We have access to a database with irradiation values for every location, and we can then use it to calculate different energy production from photovoltaic panels. We then use all this value to find the best possible position to place your panels on the roof. For our case, we created this hemispherical map of photovoltaic production, and you can see that the more south placed you are, the more production you are going to have. The black spot is the position where the position is at the moment. We use 30,000 data points to create this sphere. The south is indubitably the best spot, and the optimum spot is a bit straighter to the south with a tilt of 39 degrees, and that's where we got the best theoretical production of 4,712 kilowatt-hour per year. You can see on this other graph that it's really the best spot. Analyzing the performances in general, starting from the average production per year, we have 4,658 kilowatt-hour per year, and the seller was aiming for 4,645 kilowatt-hours a year, which is so the production is a bit higher than expected, but not by much. With the theoretical value, we are a bit lower than that because we didn't know what the real losses to set the program at, and with optimal value we are higher than that, but by just 1%. So not much differences if we wanted the best optimum choices. And the variability between year to year is only 6%.
After discussing the technical details of the photovoltaic installation and its production characteristics, we will now move on to the return on investment. The first case of return on investment is where the electricity meter can turn backward. In Belgium, it's not forbidden to have a double flow electricity meter until 2030. For the installation which don't have one, the electricity meter can turn backward, but you'll have to pay 85 euros per kilowatt peak of installation. For this case, we'll consider an installation cost of 6,792.87 euros, an installation power of 4,560 kilowatt peak, an electricity price of 30 cents per kilowatt hour fixed for the whole study. The electricity production per year is equal to 4,580, which is PVG's estimation, and it's the worst case scenario we've seen before. Because the electricity meter can turn backward, we'll have 30 cents for the whole production, but we'll have to pay the prosumer tax. Therefore, we'll gain 1,068 euros per year, and our return on investment will be 6.36 years. The second case, consider an auto consumption of 100%, which is very complex. It will need at least a battery to be able to consume the whole production and to stock it, where the consumption of the house is less than the production of the photovoltaic panels. Considering an auto consumption of 100%, we won't need to pay the prosumer tax. In this case, we'll gain 1,374 euros per year of electricity, and our return on investment will be 4.94 years. The third case, consider a double flow electricity meter. In this case, the cell production will be bought by our electricity supplier through a contract signed beforehand, and this is called injection. We've taken two cases. The first one on the left, where the electricity is bought 5 cents per kilowatt hour, and the second one on the right, which is bought 15 cents per kilowatt hour. The annual gain and the return on investment is obviously better in the second cases. The last case, consider the purchase of a solar tracker for 5,000 euros. In this case, the estimated production is given by PVGs. And even though the annual gain is better than all the cases before, the return on investment is still 7.29 years because we've bought the solar tracker. And this doesn't take into account the potential problems and maintenance of the solar tracker. In conclusion, the best return on investment is the second case with 4.94 years, but as told before, an auto consumption of 100% is barely possible, even with batteries. The best annual gain is the last case with the solar panel, but once again, this doesn't count any potential problems and maintenance of the tracker.
Throughout the project, we started by understanding the fundamentals of how a photovoltaic cell works, then moved on to analyzing the real production data of the system. Interestingly, the installation has already produced more than initially predicted. We ran simulations using PVGIS and found that the actual production closely matches the theoretical values provided by the tool, a strong indication of the system efficiency. We also conducted research to optimize the installation parameters, resulting in an estimated gain of 132 kWh per year. Finally, we performed a comparative return on investment analysis across 4 different scenarios. The results showed that installing the system now, especially under the current prosumer tariff system, offers the most favorable return on investment. Thank you for listening.